Good evening, Husker Nation. I'm David Sotek, reporting from our studio, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. This was a busy weekend for the Huskers. First in track and field, both the men and women competed and won team titles at the Mark Colligan Memorial. Noah Isaiah won his second men's weight throw title this year, and Menaida Clark won the women's shot put with a new personal record by half a meter. Dyson Wicker once again broke the school record in the pole vault with a clear of 5.72 meters, which moved him into second in the NCAA. Moving over to women's gymnastics, Nebraska upset number 14 Minnesota on Saturday at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. This was the first time the Huskers have beat the Golden Gophers in a regular season duel since 2018. Isabel Saikon captured the all-around title with a 39, while Nia Kraus earned the beam title with a 9.875. As a team, Nebraska achieved 5 career highs and 4 season highs in the contest. And finally, let's take a look at some NBA scores around the country tonight. First, Charlotte are the hosts. The Hornets are facing off against the Philadelphia 76ers. It was the Hornets who outscored them in the first, second, and third quarters and ran away with it 130-93. The Hornets winning that one. Next, over to Atlanta, where the Hawks hosted the Indiana Pacers. At the half, it was the Pacers who had the 4-point lead, but then the Atlanta Hawks answered in that second half and ran away with it as well, 132-116. And any moment now, the tip is set for 6 p.m. The Cleveland Cavaliers are hosting the Orlando Magic. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is the first hour of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
48-44, Nebraska up by 4 points after the 2-point bank by Tyson with the Toyberg up top, left side in the midcourt. Starts in, kicks out, left corner, Jamarcus, got it! Splash! Bang-a-rang on the road for Jamarcus Lawrence, and the Huskers are now up 51-44, their biggest lead of the game. 4-0 run by Minnesota on 2 free throws and that layup. Right sideline, Jamarcus Lawrence puts it on the floor a couple of times. Coming from the weak side is Sanford, puts it up and in. Money ball. Sanford with a 3. Boy, did they need that one.
Callahan dribbles across the foul line, right to left, bounces underneath. Claire Johnson hands it to Bojan. That's the assist of the game from Claire Johnson.
Terrific first pass and extra pass. Easiest score of the day for the Big Red.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Happy Monday to you. Full 2 hours headed your way here tonight. Lots of hoops talk here today, but hope everybody's staying warm. It's been pretty brutal, and if you're listening across the country, I know a lot of folks been hit by a lot of crazy weather over the last few days, so hope everybody is safe and all the good stuff. But welcome in. We had a busy weekend. Lots of sports competing and lots to get to, but how about we kick off the show number 5 in the AP top 25 ranking for Nebraska men's basketball. Keep on climbing.
Yeah, I think everybody's just still trying to wrap their minds around the visual of the graphics, and when they play tomorrow against Michigan, the little 5 that's going to be on the scoreboard next to Nebraska, top 5 matchup. Who would have ever thought that Nebraska would be in a top 5 game? And yeah, I saw some of the tweets today, and Nebraska fans that like to get their little jabs into Creighton. The highest ranking all time for Creighton men's basketball was 7th in the AP. So Nebraska has eclipsed Creighton's all-time highest ranking in the AP.
I remember it was, I don't know, was it a month or so ago when you were like, maybe it'll be a top 10 matchup. Here we are, a top 5 matchup.
Just keep winning, right? And it's the way that they've done it. They've done it so convincingly on the road. Now, it wasn't a fast start. It was anything but in the first half. You're down 6 points, and Fred and Nate are getting after the team. And you could watch the cinematic recap that was put together on Twitter, and you could see how fiery Fred Hoiberg was. And Nate, he tends to give that off anyway if you watch him on the bench. But Fred really got after his team. The way that they've finished games, whether it's been in the second half against Indiana, second half on the road against Ohio State, second halves of some of these games at home and then the Minnesota game where they've blown these teams out. I mean, how many games have they taken away in the second half? You outscore Minnesota in the latter 20 minutes. You score 46 points, you only give up 21. You gave up 9 threes in the first half. Minnesota was 0 of 11 from 3 in the second half. They just completely different team. They understand what they have to do, the intensity in which they had to ramp it up. And it was an best 20 minutes I've seen from the team all year, and that's saying a lot.
You also have to understand, and I think Nate said this in the locker room, my dad and I were texting this, you're going to get team's best shots at this point a lot of times now. And you come out and a team's unconscious to start, you got to find a way to weather that. But we're going to talk more hoops coming up. Guys, you can open up the phone lines too if you want. 402-413-2400. Shoot us a text. And tonight, because again, we'll be here for the next couple of hours. We're going to talk more men's basketball here coming up in just a few minutes with Jeff Smith, who is traveling for the big one in Ann Arbor. But listen, so when we signed off the air on Friday night, it was a record-breaking crowd, ended up being. We said that all throughout the Sports Nightly on Friday night. It was incredible. Kyle, I texted you. I was texting Damon, big wrestling guy, too. I had chills. Just an unbelievable atmosphere inside the Devaney Center for Nebraska Wrestling, taking on Iowa. Unfortunately, did not go the way they hoped going into it, but they had a great bounce-back performance yesterday. Came up just short to Ohio State, but Ohio State is a team that, hey, a lot of people thinking maybe they could knock off Penn State. We'll see. Those two teams do face off, and Nebraska also faces Penn State coming up on Friday, but thought they performed really well. Had 5 in a row that they won yesterday to take the lead going into the heavyweight bout. But a fun weekend for wrestling, and I think they'll continue to get better and be where they need to be come March. That's just kind of how this program is wired. But I've been waiting patiently for this story because I'm sitting there. After we signed off the show, it's electric, and I'm like, are you watching this? Are you seeing it? It's crazy. And he said, my car just got towed.
Yes.
So I feel like this story, your punishment, is to tell the folks what happened to you on Friday night after we signed off the air on Sports Nightly.
Well, if folks are watching on the YouTube stream, you can see the disgust on my face. I don't know if it's the cold has gotten to my brain. I think that's the only way that you could think that this could happen, right? So, I'm in a good mood after the show because we had a good show, right? You're doing awesome stuff out at Devaney. We didn't have any tech issues. The flow of the show was good. I was here. You were there. The show just looked great, went great, all that good stuff. So it's weekend, right? It's weekend, so I'm feeling good. I don't know what happened. So I go into the stadium parking garage. I'm not looking at the elevator button. I click 2 instead of 3. I always park on the 3rd floor. And I click 2. I think I click 3. So I get out on the 2nd floor. I look out. My car's not there. And all of a sudden I notice where I usually park, there's this, tow sign. Like, these are reserved parking. You're going to get towed if you park here. And I said, I don't remember these signs being here. So me completely going to worst case scenario, thinking I am on, again, floor 3, when in reality I'm on floor 2. I am not where my car is parked. And I say, my car got towed. So I text you right away. I call Jason Rathie, our boss, general manager, and I say, it doesn't say where your car goes if you get towed. So I said, can you figure out where my car might be? Camden Cohn, who's producing the show, great intern, Camden Cohn, he was here with his car. I said, I got to call Camden because if I have to get my car somewhere, I need somebody to drive me. So he meets me outside the stadium parking garage. And I said, Camden, I just called the tow place. They say they have no record of my car being towed. Like, could it possibly have been stolen? It couldn't have been stolen. Like, I know it's here. Like, I know it had to have been towed. So Capital Towing doesn't have it. I don't think it could possibly be stolen. I double-checked to make sure the car was locked. So then I say, you know what? This is after I call campus police. And I say, they say, yeah, we'll send somebody there. If it's stolen, then we'll write up a report. I say, you know what, Camden? Before this cop gets here, let's drive up, make sure I didn't miss anything. So he drives me up to floor 3, and as soon as he turns the bend, voila, my car is sitting in exactly where I parked it. After I had called my boss, campus police, had texted Jessica, had thought worst case scenario, it was towed, if not stolen. And it was sitting right there. And sitting in the passenger seat of Camden Cohen's car, he's just laughing. And he couldn't control himself. And then I texted you, and you said, I think the cold is getting to you. So then I drive home after realizing, you know what, great. My car's not stolen, it's not towed. And then my swipe card doesn't work to get into my apartment complex. It's broke. I can't get in. I'm standing outside the swinging gate of my apartment complex. My hands are freezing. I'm trying to talk to somebody over this little intercom saying my car doesn't work. I can't get in. So after a while, I eventually get into my apartment complex, settle down, and then Saturday morning at 5 a.m., the fire alarm goes off inside my apartment complex, and we have to evacuate in sub-zero temperatures the next morning. So to say after a great show on Friday,
it went downhill.
It was a tough 24 hours there.
Man, that is tough. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
The sheer embarrassment was tough in itself, but the fact that Camden saw the whole thing through. I mean, he saw everything from start to finish.
Well, you said this is a story that has to be told, and oh boy, yeah.
So you can text in. Let me know if you've ever forgotten where your car is parked, or you've had that sinking feeling in your chest because you're like, I parked there, when in reality you're just in the wrong spot, and you think you got towed.
It's just funny you immediately went to, my car's towed.
My car's towed. I thought I was on floor 3 of the parking garage. I was not. And my car was sitting there the whole time, just laughing at me.
Yikes.
And it was really cold on Friday night.
Yeah.
So I'm standing outside during all of this.
Not ideal, Kyle.
No, it's not ideal. But you know
well,
what?
At least you found it. You made it in today. All is well.
Hopefully my car's still there when I walk out. Should be, right?
If you remembered where you parked it.
It's in the same spot that it was there on Friday.
Oh, boy. Well,
So that just shows where my weekend was. And, I was watching the NFL games this weekend. I was watching a little bit of Husker wrestling on Sunday. And, of course, the basketball with the men and the women back-to-back. So at least I had that to get my mind off what was an awful Friday night and an even worse Saturday morning.
Well, I'm glad you made it into work today.
Yeah, I'm here. You can't get rid of me that fast.
Hey, Pat and Carney says, first question of the night, do they ever call 3 seconds anymore? And also make sure you park in the correct spot, LOL. Thanks for that advice,
I
Pat
parked
and
in
Carney.
the correct spot, the same spot. It's just I had brain freeze. Literally, my brain froze. Brain froze.
He parked in the correct spot, just went to the wrong spot.
Yes.
Went to the wrong.
I muscle memory to the wrong spot in the stadium parking garage.
Oh, at least you're admitting it wholeheartedly here. We're giving
As soon as it happened, Jason on the phone said, well, it's a good story for radio. That indeed it is, Jason. And this is not put on. This is not made up for radio.
No,
I
because
just
I
flat
got the
out
text.
forgot.
My car got towed.
She's like, you watching this? Wrestling's electric right now. And I'm just like, I got towed, period.
And then he said, funny story. So I didn't get towed. I went to the wrong floor. Okay, wow. That was a quick turn of events.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. Brandon in Missouri Valley wants to talk some men's hoops. Brandon, how you doing tonight? Hello?
Well, I think, there we go.
There we
There
go.
it is.
A muted microphone gives you good audio, does it? I'm doing pretty good. How are you two doing this very, very cold evening? Yes, it's cold here.
Yeah, it's chilly. It's definitely chilly.
Well, maybe Kyle turning off his freezer would help. How about that?
Yeah.
Kyle?
That's a start.
Well, yeah. By the way, before I comment on the basketball team, I gotta say, Kyle, I think one of the great lines I've heard you do this year for football play-by-play when somebody gets a good catch is Velcro hands.
Yeah.
Wherever that came from, I love it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I run through my sayings every night. I try to grow that list every week.
I'm totally blind and wish I could be a play-by-play announcer. So you just doing what I wish I could do. So I give you all the props.
Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, absolutely. The thing I want to say is, watching Nebraska basketball over the past, because I follow pretty much everything Nebraska. I'm basically a diehard Nebraska fan. I live in Iowa. I know that sounds kind of difficult to say, right? You live in Iowa, but you root for Nebraska. You know how that rivalry goes. But I will say this: Nebraska's done really well. Top 5. You mentioned it earlier, but Jamarcus Lawrence has been one guy that's been surprising me with the shots he's been taking. I mean, he's taken some pretty, tough shots. And a lot of times it makes me think back to the days of Bernard Garner back in the days of the mid-'90s. And, even Jerron Boone and Teron Lou, back in those days. And you look at that type of play and him and Hoiberg and the rest of the team, and you just sit back and you scratch your head and you're thinking, man, to only think that last year we were so close and yet so far away, and here we are just knocking on the doorstep. They're just, I think Fred Hoiberg's making a statement, and I think a lot of people are, I had a couple of friends of mine were like, well, yeah, but what is it going to take to get us into March Madness? Well, I think that's the thing. I think Fred Hoiberg wants to see the play continue to get better. Michigan is not only going to be a big test in my book tomorrow, but what I'm looking for is how do we handle transition in the second half? Because Michigan's going to come at us with everything but the kitchen sink, but that might leave Michigan vulnerable, in my opinion, to the big shot. If Lawrence gets open, or even if Hoiberg gets open, and someone says, let it go, let it fly, and I say in humor, maybe we ought to put Kyle on the basketball team. I bet he could make a shot, huh, Kyle?
Yeah, back in the day, it's all I did. I would stand at the three-point line.
Really?
I'll tell you this, though. You got to probably shoot better than 32% from three to beat Michigan. You're probably got to be in double figures when it comes to threes hit. I mean, you got to have one of those nights where somebody outside of Price Sanford gets hot. This is a big game that can Rink find a shot again? Could some of the other guys step up, hit some big shots? Can Kel Jacobson hit one or two? Could Berkay hit one, three? You're right. Transition's going to be big in this game. Michigan
needs a big night.
Yeah.
Hugton needs a big night. He needs, but I'm thinking instead of 32%, my whole shot is going to be about 60 to 70%. That's what I'm thinking you're going to need as mathematically speaking. But even then, it's going to have to be, more than just Lawrence and Hoiberg. You're going to need to see more Rank Mass. You're going to need to see more Berkay Buchengel. You're going to need to see a lot of these players. And Sanford, you're right. Sanford's had, we need to see a lot more of the other players kind of pulling off in transition. And I think once it gets to that point, I think you're nailing it on the head, Casey. I think it's going to be a power punch that we're going to have to put to Michigan. And if it's without that power punch, we could be losing to Michigan. So we're going to have to get power down to the floor. And in NASCAR terms, we're going to have to take the green flag and go to the checkered.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, great stuff and great call. It's
Thank you.
It's awesome to think, right? Nebraska basketball has almost like a Sweet 16, Elite 8 feel to a regular season game tomorrow. This is going to be the biggest game in college basketball. And you're going to need a lot of guys to step up, not just the core that you would expect, but Jared Garcia's got to have to maybe have a game like he did against Illinois, where he had a really big second half, help them to a road win.
Quickly here, it's got some funny comments to your car story here. But Patty in Omaha texted in, while my car was getting worked on, I borrowed my mom's car to go to the grocery store, forgot about it, and spent 10 minutes looking for my car.
Yeah, it's muscle memory. Don't be ashamed.
Hey, Kyle needs some.
Although in this case, it was my car. It was the same car.
Yeah,
and I was parked in the same spot. I just thought one floor of the parking garage was my normal floor of the parking garage, and I panicked.
Anybody else got any funny car stories to make Kyle feel better about himself?
Make me
here
feel
on
better
this Monday
because
morning?
I
He's
did
not
not
the
feel
only
good.
one.
I did not feel good.
Thanks for that story, Patty. Appreciate it. I could see myself doing the same thing, just wandering around looking for my car when I didn't even drive my car to the grocery store. That's hilarious. All right, got to get to a break. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Jeff Smith, who is going to be on the call tomorrow. Speaking of, Jamarcus Lawrence, Brandon just brought him up in his call. He's got some pretty interesting things to say about Jamarcus. So we're going to get to that here coming up next as we preview the big matchup here between Nebraska and Michigan. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Again, 402-413-2400 is that number if you want to be a part of the show tonight. We'll back with more coming up right after this.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Huge one coming up tomorrow night right here on the Huskers Radio Network. We'll have the call for you, but top 5 matchup with number 5 Nebraska and number 3 Michigan. And to talk about that, the guy that will be on the call for us, Jeff Smith. Thanks for being here with us. You're traveling, you're on the road, but how about that? We've got a top 5 matchup here tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal that this is really happening, but this team has earned it, and they've kind of stepped up in every situation they've been challenged with so far. So here's another really big one on the road and against a team that's, probably really wants to almost embarrass us if they can. So this is going to be a huge challenge.
You know, being around this team as much as you are and being around Fred specifically, I'm interested because I've had the chance to talk to him in interview settings and see him a little bit outside of him being the basketball coach. But When you see the halftime speeches that he has and how fiery he is, do you get to see a lot of that side of Coach Hoiberg? Because I don't. I think that's fascinating, some of the stuff that we get to see in the locker room at halftime, just sort of his demeanor.
Off the court, you don't. He is, very cerebral, very calm and poised all the time. And usually in practice, it's the same way as well. So I don't see it that much. I know it's there. I've seen it a couple times in practice. He's very good at picking and choosing the times that he needs to get on them and motivate them and remind them of what needs to be done better. So it's extremely effective because he picks and chooses so well. He doesn't do it all the time. It's not his nature. But I remember, I was coaching Nebraska when he was a player at Iowa State. He was very, very steady, poised, kind of stoic as a player, and I love his demeanor as a coach because it's there, it's in there, but it's timely and it's effective, and he only does it when it's really needed, and the guys, they're going to respond to that.
I worked with Lon Kruger for a long time at Oklahoma. People always said that about him. Don't mistake his niceness for not having that killer instinct. And I really feel that about Fred Hoiberg too. I mean, just one of those really nice human beings, but man, you won't find him more competitive than him.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing. Every guy that I've been involved with coaching that's played, Division I level, NBA level especially, there's that competitive nature in them that it's going to pop out when it needs to. There's a reason they're so successful, right? That they are that competitive, that helps them rise to the next level. And that's what Fred is, that's what he teaches his kids to do that he's coaching.
It's a pretty darn good team offensively. We know that. But the reason that they're now fifth in the country, I think, has a lot to do with what they do on the defensive end of the floor. And the adjustments going into the second half against Minnesota, they hit, 9 threes in the first half, Jeff? They didn't hit a single three in the second half. They were 0 for 11, taking away certain things that Minnesota was doing pretty efficiently in the first half. What, as a coach and seeing it through that lens, what was the difference defensively for Nebraska in the second half?
Yeah, the first part was just a little more activity and motivation, just playing just a little harder. These guys play hard all the time, but there's a level that they get to that to be successful in the Big Ten, it has to be full activity, full effort. So they picked it up just a little bit, but they also made a great adjustment on the pick and pop. They were taking advantage of our big hedging and helping a little too long off of Crocker Johnson, a great shooter. And in the second half, they didn't play it that way. They jammed up on the big, and the little had to fight over under to get back to the ball, and they didn't leave him. It was an absolute great adjustment to take him out of it, and then their other guys just couldn't make shots. I thought we wore them out again. Defensively, our activity on defense makes them work harder for shots, and eventually it seems like we've worn some legs down, then they don't make shots for that reason too. But when we're at our activity level that makes us successful, makes us a great defense, we deflect the ball, we close out on the three-point line quicker, and that made the big difference in the second half.
Jeff, I know obviously the big storyline was not having Braden Frager. He's been such a fun story this year, but how did you like the way the team managed without him? Were you surprised that they were able to I guess, continue to score and I guess not have as many issues as maybe some people thought that they might without Braden?
Yeah, I wasn't totally surprised because they've just shown that they can step up in different ways, and I don't think Braden's replaceable for some of the things he does, but Sam in that first half just kind of carried us for a while. Sam's defense is elite, and I think Jamarcus is kind of flying under the radar right now with how well he's leading and playing. He made one play in the Minnesota game at a crucial time where he makes a critical pull-up in the lane, and then the next possession defensively, he deflects one off of them out of bounds, and I'm not sure he's getting quite enough, attention for that, but they all make those plays. They, Price doesn't do much in the first half because they're holding him and pushing him and trailing around screens, but then he gets loose, just keeps working. And the resilience that these guys have and and the motivation that they have to continue to play and find a way is just, it's off the charts. And so it doesn't totally surprise me that these guys pull together, because that's what they do, and then they find a way to fill in the gaps for what they can at least do to fill in part of Braden's talent.
I'm looking at Michigan, and I see their top three scorers in their front line, 6'9", 6'9", 7'3". Okay, let's start there. It's going to be tough to get anything in the paint. It's going to be tough to get to the rim. They're going to want to score in the paint. How does Nebraska deal with the size that they're about to step into? I mean, Michigan they're an elite team.
They are. I don't think they're much different than Illinois was, and we had some success. This is where you go in and you play off 2 feet. We still have to have paint touches. I think we can go around some of that size with our smaller athletes. Sam has proven that. Kale has proven that. Jamarcus. But then if there's a 7'3" guy at the rim, it's going to be tough. I think you show some shot fakes to see if they bite on those. And then it's hopefully we can spray it out and find some guys, because I think those are the best threes you get in basketball anyway, those inside outs. And hopefully we can find some of those and knock some of those down. I think against Michigan, we're going to have to make threes. I watched the Wisconsin game last night. And their bigs made a lot of them. I think hopefully Rink can kind of break out. He's been in a little three-point shooting funk. I hope he can break out and make some. But whenever Berke can make one or two, that really helps our team. I think Cable's got to be ready to shoot some too in Braden's absence. So if we can't make threes, then I think it's going to be tough to win there. I think anybody that beats them is going to have to make threes against that size and that rim protection that they have.
Speaking of three-point shooting, how about Bryce Sanford? Not only does he lead the Big Ten in three-pointers made per game, he's also pretty much right there in field goal percentage, shooting over 41%, nearly 42%. How difficult is that? Because, teams are trying to take him out of it. He's got such a quick release, but to not only the caliber, the amount of threes that he shoots, the amount of them that he makes, and to do it at such a high clip.
Yeah, his confidence level is unbelievable, and he's so consistent with his form and his footwork, and that's a lot of shooting, is getting squared up to the basket every time, getting the ball in his shooting pocket, and he does it every time, and he's got that quick release that allows him to get it off, and he somehow maintains the same form every time. Usually has great arc. We want that 45-degree arc. He's usually right around there, it looks like to me, and his teammates are so good about giving him the time to get the ball back and get the ball again and set good screens for him. And then he's getting people open because they're paying so much attention to him. But his will to play this game the right way and to his movement without the ball is so good that eventually he's just going to find some openings. I love it when we can push the ball, and again, our defense creates misses. We get the ball or deflections. We get a steal. And when Jamarcus can push the ball or Sam can push the ball and they find him in transition for those pull-up threes, that gets him going a lot, as does the free throw line sometime. But he's been amazing that he has produced despite the attention he's getting. But a lot of it's just his work ethic, his basketball skill and his work ethic translate into success for him.
Yeah, as you were talking, Jeff, a light bulb kind of went off, and we mentioned Michigan's size. Is this one of those games, and it's always been an emphasis for Fred this year, get out and try and score in transition, but in this game specifically, get out, try to score quickly in the clock, score in transition, not make this a half-court game because of Michigan's size?
I think so. I think that they've shown more press than any team I've seen, so if they're willing to press us, the question is, do we try to make them pay if we break the press? Do we try to attack or shoot the three and make them pay for pressing? And I think this is probably a game that if you're open, you got to take those shots, because I don't know if you're going to get a better shot later if you're going 5-on-5 all the time. So Kyle, I think so. I think we want to play at a pretty good pace, although they are great in the fast game too. They are great pushing the ball. They can get up around the rim and finish really easy. And so can we get a little more than them, I think, is the question. I always call it the easy basket game. Can we get a few more easy ones and still take away with our defensive transition, take away some of theirs?
How impressive is the turnaround that we've also seen at Michigan, too?
Yeah, it's they've got some elite players. They made some good decisions in the portal, obviously. Lindenborg's elite. He was at UAB for 2 years, and he's averaging 14.4, but he could be averaging 24, I think, if they weren't on such a balanced team. I think he's a very unselfish guy, too. 7.2 rebounds. Merez Johnson, 6'9", 250, transfer from Illinois, averaging 13.7, 6.9 rebounds. Those two guys are, I think, their best players by far. They can guard on the perimeter. They can guard inside. They ISO them every once in a while. They are going to be an absolute handful for us. And then, then you add a 7'3" guy to the mix, and their guards get up in you. Dusty May's done a great job. I'm assuming they maybe spent a little more than us in the portal, but, they made some good decisions there.
Got to know Dusty a little bit when he was on Mike White's staff at Florida, and then we saw what he did at Florida Atlantic and that long run in the tournament that they had. Let me ask you this. What's left to learn here about Nebraska? This is a pretty crucial stretch coming up, right? So you have this game, you're going to have Illinois, you have Rutgers, and then you have the big game against Purdue. What for you is left to learn for Nebraska, still with a lot of season left, but we've seen so much positive out of this group?
Well, with Braden being out, I think we got to learn if anybody else off the bench can help us. I think depth is crucial here down the stretch. If Jared Garcia can continue to improve a little bit, if Kendall Blue gets another chance to get on the floor, if Kale can be a little more assertive off the bench, he's so smart and he plays a great role, but do we need him to be a little more assertive sometimes? If Oogie could get his back healthy, could he help us down the stretch? I think that's one thing. Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that can hurt us, our defense, is the penetration from the top. And I thought that Washington hurt us a little bit with that. You even look back 2 years ago, Texas, they hurt us with that. Our defense is really loaded up when the ball's on the side. We rotate extremely quick. Our post traps are unbelievable. If teams have that quickness that they can break us down in the middle, that can hurt us. So I think that's something we have to be conscious of and work on, and I'm sure Coach Linger's more aware of it than I am. So that's a factor. I think we've kind of answered the bell about, rebounding, but we're gonna find out again tonight or tomorrow if we can do that. So, I think it's constant. Try to just get a little better at everything, a little better at our rotations, a little better at boxing out, a little better at handling the different types of screens that we're seeing on the ball and the staggered doubles and things like that. And then, sometimes down at the end of the season, it comes down to how well are you shooting the ball. And so we'll see how that comes together towards the end of the year.
Visiting with Jeff Smith, who'll be on the call for us here on the Huskers Radio Network tomorrow night. We got a top 5 matchup in Ann Arbor. All right, you mentioned earlier about Wisconsin and making threes and that needing to happen for Nebraska to maybe pull off the upset there at Michigan. What else, when you watch that game back, the one loss for Michigan this season, did you see Wisconsin do that maybe Nebraska can take into this one?
Yeah, I thought Wisconsin defended them pretty well and defended the three pretty well. The one thing that you kind of look at is Michigan hasn't shot the ball that well lately from the three. They started off in a Vegas tournament and were just ripping people and shooting the ball really well. Their percentage has really dropped the last 4 or 5 games. I don't think they're a real confident shooting team. So if we can play that active defense and close out on them and make them shoot over hands and try to get one and dones, I think we can slow their offense down a little bit if we take that break away and get into our active mode and our strong closeouts. I think we can make it a little tough for them to score.
Biggest number on the box score when it's all said and done? Turnover number? Is it number of threes? Is it number of possessions? What's the biggest number that you're going to look at when it's all said and done that this is the reason Nebraska won this game?
Well, that's a great question because in my mind I'm running through a whole bunch of different ones. I think our defense has been pretty consistent. I think we have to make threes, probably number of threes for me right now at least. I might watch some more film tonight and change my mind, but I think Rink has to make some threes. I think Price has to continue to be Price. Jamarcus, hopefully gets some looks and knocks them down. I think we got to make 10, 11, 12 threes to have a chance.
All right, and I'm looking at the box sheet from Minnesota, and you got Price played 33 minutes, Sam 36, almost 37, Jamarcus 33, Rinkmass almost 33. Does that concern you at all? Just the minutes that some of those guys are racking up here as they battle through Big Ten conference play?
It doesn't really, because I think we were ahead of the game in that area. Rink had been pretty rested going into these last couple before Braden got hurt. I think he's geared up, and I'm kind of glad he's played a little more because down the stretch, I think we're going to want him to play those 33, 35-minute games. I think Kurt Joseph does a great job, and we are really ready to do this. We're sitting there, at the end of the Minnesota game after that, and they're in cold tubs. They take care of themselves. Coach Hoiberg has a great feel for the load these guys can take. They look at the data. They're just so advanced in that area. It's like watching an NBA team. I think these guys can handle that. I think they're ready for it. That's what they've prepared for since summer, and I think they can do it. I'm not that worried about that yet at this time of the year.
Now,
This statement is not evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
Active Liver is one of many award-winning health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at Amazon.com or for a volume discount, visit newnordicusa.com. Available as a tablet or delicious sugar-free gummy. Protect and help your liver the easy and effective way with Active Liver at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Dear Weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Appreciate Jeff Smith joining us and diving into this basketball team, this matchup. He's been awesome on the air. Obviously has a great coaching mind, sees things very well, so always appreciate his time here with us on Sports Nightly. Paulin Hoskins says, very impressive with how this team adjusts to adversity in the first halves and finishes the game in the second half. Go Big Red.
Have you noticed, too, by the way, unbeaten, Jeff Smith is the color analyst of the Huskers Radio Network. He's never lost. So
maybe he was what needed to happen.
Yes. But no, great second halves for sure. I agree.
Good text. Keep them coming in, 402-413-2400. I messed up the timing. My fault. I take this one. It's on me. So go ahead and get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number one before we have a whole nother hour of Sports Nightly. So 402-413-2400. Keep those texts coming in.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more at appliedconnective.com and go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Final few minutes here left of hour number 1 Sports Nightly. Coming up hour number 2, we're going to talk some women's hoops with Amy Williams. Going to be stopping by for her weekly appearance here on Sports Nightly, coming off a big win over Illinois. Also yesterday, Kyle, we have a Super Bowl matchup, and your Colts are not in it. What the heck? What happened?
They haven't been in anything in a while. They lost just about
Obviously.
every game to start the finish out the season. So, no, it was a fun championship Sunday. I think the elements, it was a fun watch. New England, Denver was a really fun watch. I don't think anybody anticipated after back-to-back 4-win seasons, New England would be playing for another Super Bowl, and we'd have a rematch of what was the goal line interception of Malcolm Butler. I think it was in probably 2016 or 17 at this point in Arizona when they did not hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch and threw it and it was picked off, and New England won another championship. It almost sickens me to think that New England, after drafting Drake May, is already back here at a Super Bowl, and then Seattle's a darn good team. I love watching Sam Darnold play. Growing up in the New York, New Jersey area, seeing years of, I remember, never forget the Monday Night Football audio that he had of saying that he was seeing ghosts against the Patriots, and he did not have a good start to his career, but it also shows that you get in the right franchise, the right situation with guys around you, a good defense, that he has proven that he is an all-pro type quarterback, played one of the best games of his career, and now has a chance. Who would have ever thought that Sam Darnold now is going to have a chance after people threw him away after being a top draft pick of the Jets to win a Super Bowl, or Drake May win a Super Bowl this early in his career. Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year. I mean, a complete massive turnaround for New England. It should be a fun game.
I think early kind of thoughts, but I think I will be rooting for Seattle.
I can't root for New England. Never can. I'm rooting for Sam Darnold probably more than anything, but overall, I'm probably more of a neutral observer. I don't really care either way. For me, if Nebraska's in it, I care. Other than that, I'm okay. As long as it's a good game, and maybe if I have some sort of chips and dip that I can have during the thing, but I'm going to be forced to cook myself a little deal for Super Bowl Sunday.
So, I frequent this place called Off Leash Dog Bar. They're going to have a Super Bowl Sunday, and they're going to have a potluck appetizer. And, I won the soup cook-off.
You did. I remember that.
Around. So I'm the reigning potluck champion, and I feel like I'm going to have to step up my game. So if anybody, we're telling car stories, which I think we're got a fun one coming up here on the top of the 7 o'clock hour. One Matt Coatney is going to call in and tell a funny one here in the 7 o'clock hour. But also, if you have any, good Super Bowl appetizer recipes worthy of winning a cook-off, let me know.
That's your spot. That should be a fun spot. So you and Sonny are going to be watching the Super Bowl at this dog bar?
Yes, yep. It's
you got to get Sonny. You got to make Sonny something for the Super Bowl, though.
I don't know. She's kind of got a little bit of an iffy tummy.
Now, you're growing up in Oklahoma. You're not a huge NFL person, right? More college football?
I'm definitely not. I like following and watching guys that I have covered.
Yeah, which is a lot.
Yeah, especially places like Philadelphia that's got multiple Huskers and Sooners.
Sure.
And, I like following Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. So, yeah, some of those guys that I've been able to work with, that's more my speed. I like seeing those guys do well more than I have, I'm obviously a diehard Oklahoma City Thunder fan. I don't have one of those in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Well, talk about career resurgence. Baker Mayfield, it's been fun to watch him play. You must have loved watching him play this last couple of years.
Okay, so on that note, we do have to get to a break, but Rusty, see you on hold. We'll get you right out of the break here coming up when we kick off hour number 2, so we'll get to that. And our very own Matt Coatney said he's going to call in and tell us a great story. We might have to ask him a few other questions because it's retirement week for him.
That is. That's
so
right.
Lots to get into. Keep it here. A whole nother hour of Sports Nightly coming up next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Think a bunch of IT gurus would have anything in common with a dominant college volleyball team? Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, serving Nebraska businesses for nearly 20 years. We're proud to have a few things in common with our beloved Huskers, namely that we're also a group of hardworking and highly skilled individuals that make up one dynamic team. From our IT and cybersecurity all-stars to our phone, physical security, infrastructure, and audio-video pros, we're one team that can expertly manage all your technologies. Discover why it's a game changer to partner with us at appliedconnective.com. And as always, go Big Red.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Good evening, Husker Nation. I'm David Sotek, reporting from our studio, and the Sports Ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. This was a busy weekend for the Huskers, and first in track and field, both the men and women competed and won team titles at the Mark Colligan Memorial. Noah Isaiah won his second men's weight throw title this year, and Mine DeClark won the women's shot put with a new personal record. Dyson Wicker once again broke the school record with a clear and pole vault of 5.72 meters, which moved him into second in the NCAA. Moving over to women's gymnastics, Nebraska upset number 14 Minnesota on Saturday at the Bob Devaney Sports Center. This was the first time the Huskers have beat the Golden Gophers in a regular season duel since 2018. Isabel Saikon captured the all-around title with a 39, while Naya Kraus earned the beam title with a 9.875. And as a team, Nebraska achieved 5 career highs and 4 season highs in the contest. And finally, let's take a look at some NBA scores around the country tonight. First, heading over to Charlotte, the Hornets hosted the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Hornets took it away with this one. They outscored them in the first, second, and third quarters and won the game 130-93. And heading over to Atlanta, where the Hawks were the hosts of the Indiana Pacers, that matchup there, the Indiana Pacers had the 4-point lead at the half, but Atlanta answered, and they answered heavily and won this one 132-116. And the tip-off between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic happened an hour ago. There's just under 3 minutes until the half, and it's the Magic who has the slight lead of 52-50. The Sports Ticker was brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through the retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the retirement compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
48-44, Nebraska up by 4 points after the 2-point bank by Tyson with the Toyberg up top, left side in the midcourt. Starts in, kicks out, left corner, Jamarcus, got it! Splash! Bang-a-ring on the road for Jamarcus Lawrence, and the Huskers are now up 51-44, their biggest lead of the game. 4-0 run by Minnesota on 2 free throws and that layup. Right sideline, Jamarcus Lawrence puts it on the floor a couple of times. Coming from the weak side is Sanford, puts it up and in. Money ball. Sanford with a 3. Boy, did they need that one.
Callahan dribbles across the foul line, right to left, bounces underneath. Claire Johnson hands it to Bojan. That's the assist of the game from Claire Johnson.
Terrific first pass and extra pass. Easiest score of the day for the Big Red.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly on this Monday evening, chilly Monday evening. If you missed it in the first hour, Kyle told the story about how he lost his car on Friday night after the show. He thought it got towed. He called the police. He called our boss, Jason. Camden had to drive him around. Come to find out, he just went to the wrong floor on the parking garage.
I did, yes.
So we've had some funny texts come in. We asked for some funny car stories. So we have a couple that we've been waiting to get to. And let's start. Our good friend Matt Coatney said that he's got a funny one that involves one head coach, Amy Williams. Coat, thanks for calling back. Thanks for calling in. Good to hear from you. And hey, happy retirement week.
Hey, now make sure everybody understands that's not from this network.
Okay? Yes.
No, you're sticking around here. You can't get you.
We're not letting
you're not going anywhere.
You're not going. Yes.
We wouldn't let you.
You're not allowed.
No, that's from my state government job. You have to understand the sickening feeling I got driving down Van Dorn Street, listening to Kyle tell this sad story. And the feeling I got, it took me back 10 years. 10 years when I had a new women's basketball coach named Amy Williams. And I had only met her maybe 3 times. We used to host Sports Nightly and the Coaches Show down in the Haymarket. and the coaches would have to park in this little alley. And we had rented it out, and the producers would go and put a cone out, and all the coaches knew to come move the cone and pull perpendicular down into the alley, okay? So I'm going to host Amy's first show, and our producers at the time said, we talked to Coach. She knows how to do this. And she showed up, and we had a very good show, and I don't know her very well, and we're walking out of the studio, and we're making conversation, and she grabs my arm, and she says, Matt, where's my car? And I said, I don't know. Where did you park it? And the cone is where it's supposed to be, but her car is not in the alley. And I didn't know what to tell my coach because she's freaking out. And I'm thinking, I'm going to get fired. I mean, I was with Cheryl Burnett at Missouri State, Final Four coach, Hall of Famer. Paul Sandiford brought me to Nebraska, Hall of Fame coach. Connie Yori, Hall of Fame coach. Amy Williams doesn't know me from anybody. I am in my car taking my coach to the impound lot in Northwest Lincoln, listening to her saying, I did exactly what your producers told us to do. And I'm sitting here going, oh no. But my coach got her car, and 10 years later, I'm still doing her games. But I hadn't really thought about that sickening feeling I had until I'm listening to Kyle talk about my car was gone, and having Camden Cone drive him around. I thought, I've been Camden Cone.
Camden played the role of Coatney. You know what's funny? Ben took me around the Haymarket when I first got here. We had lunch, and he showed me the offices where the studios used to be in the Haymarket, and he showed me that exact alley that the coaches would park, where Bo Pelini used to park his car or whatever. And so I have the exact visual of what you're talking about.
Did you have to cover the costs of the towing?
For all I know, I paid her whole first year's salary after that. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was going to goner from this network. I mean, Amy didn't know me from anybody. And, of course, what a tremendous person. Amy is like family to me now. But, boy, Kyle, I got to tell you, you brought back some old memories with your story. I'm glad you found your car, buddy.
Hey, Coat, while we got you, Denny in Omaha texted in. We'll just let you answer this while you're here. He said, I follow Nebraska women's basketball pretty closely, and I think they need to run more actions for Britt to get her going a little bit more. And, again, that's from Denny in Omaha.
And, Denny, I think that Amy Williams would agree with that. I think one of the things they want Britt to do is be a little bit more aggressive. I think sometimes Britt, in her first year, was so focused on getting Alexis Markowski the ball and setting up her teammates. I had said many times this year that Kennedy Williams has been good for Britt, because when Kennedy comes in and plays the 1 and Britt moves to the 2, Britt has to be more aggressive in scoring. And then when she moves back to the 1, she's kind of in that mode of being more aggressive. I think we saw it in the last game in which Britt was, I think, pretty motivated. The team played a little bit desperate, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing in the way they played against Illinois. So couldn't agree more with Denny.
And, looking to this week, Coat, what are
you didn't know you were calling in to tell a story, and then you're going to stay on for a whole segment.
Yeah, you're stuck now, Coat.
All right.
I know the team was incredibly frustrated after Wisconsin. You talked to Amy, I think, the next day after that game, and you bounce back with a win, you hold on. What are some of the things that you're looking for this week? You have 2 big games coming up this week.
Well, I want to see Nebraska play with the same intensity against Northwestern that they had against Illinois. I was very impressed with what Amy did when we landed in Lincoln back from Madison. She went to the back of that plane and she said, winning teams, when they run into some turbulence, they stay positive. Now is not the time to point fingers. Now is the time to pick everybody up. And that showed against Wisconsin or against Illinois in the last game. The team came out and played, and I said it on the air, they played almost like they were desperate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think if they play with that this game really means something, and they play with motivation from the tip, and they do it consistently. I've said throughout the year, this team can't have 5-minute stretches where they don't score or they let down. That's really been their problem this year. They really didn't do that against Illinois. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on Wednesday night against Northwestern.
Art in Los Angeles had texted in and said, can't wait to hear from the GOAT, Matt Coatney, and Shane Jensen wishes you congratulations on your retirement week. Again, from his other job, we're not letting him go here from the Huskers Radio Network.
Again,
he's not going anywhere.
Coatney, you can't leave.
It's just more time for him to come on here on the network.
That's right.
Okay, Kyle stole my thunder because I was listening to that great interview with Jeff Smith, and I thought, John Baylor must hate Jeff Smith because I've often thought JB has it on all of us. His winning percentage all time on this network has got to be 700 something. I don't even want to know what my winning percentage is because I've got women's basketball and football and several volleyball and softball broadcasts added in there. But Jeff Smith, he's 100%, 20-0.
He might be the reason, Coat. Who knows? He might be the reason for this best start in program history.
We can't let him go. We've got to make sure that we've got a home health care nurse making sure he gets to the arena. And, he does such a great job. Can you imagine, Kyle, in all the years you've been a play-by-play announcer, that you show up with the team, the next thing you know, you're ranked 5th and you're 20-0? I mean,
unbelievable.
This is the easiest job in the world.
Be amazing. Coatney, thanks for calling in. Great to hear from you, and we'll look forward to hearing from you again coming up on Wednesday, 6:30 pregame show.
Kyle, you ever lose your car again, you got my number, buddy.
You're the first one I'm going to call. See you, Coat. Have a good call on Wednesday.
Thanks.
All right. It's kind of like a Big Red reaction, but telling car stories because we got another one here. Rusty in Albuquerque has a car story for us. Rusty, thanks for calling in and hanging on, by the way.
Oh, not a problem, Jessica. This happened probably like 30 years ago when our family was living in north central Indiana. And the background to this story is that my wife had a really good friend, and I would typically take my lunch and I'd go to play basketball over my lunch hour. And I would always park in the same place off of the street where the Y was located at. And this specific day, I knew exactly where I parked. I went in, played, got done playing, and then after I came out, I looked and my car wasn't where I knew I had parked it. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on here? And after I was frantically looking all around, all of a sudden, my wife and her good friend pulled right past me, and they said, "Are you looking for something?" And come to find out, they had played a trick on me, and my wife had moved my car into a nearby parking lot.
That's a no-go. You can't do that.
I like it.
And it's like I just, I couldn't believe it, but they were just laughing up a storm, and they just were having, a big kick out of it. And the other backstory to this is that my good buddy, who is the husband of his wife, who helped play this trick on me, he's a big Hoosier fan. And while we were living there, it was in the 90s when we were winning national championships in football. And he would always refer to the Huskers as the Bullies. And so I got to repay his sentiments back to him this year because, of course, Indiana's great season. And I told my good buddy, I said, well, Indiana is now referred to as the Bullies.
But you knew the sickening, sinking feeling Kyle had on Friday night, is what you're saying, though.
But at least he knew where he parked it. Like it's not like he was the issue in that whole story. He was pranked. I wasn't pranked.
I was definitely pranked, and I knew exactly where I had parked my car. And my first thought was, who in the world would have stolen my car?
Yeah.
And we're talking about a small, rural community in north central Indiana. And it's, it threw me for a loop, and I was sitting there scratching my head, looking all around, and sure enough, my wife and her best friend, they pranked me good.
That's awesome.
I'm glad I could bring up all these bad memories for everybody
I know.
out there.
This has been the the most active on the text and phone lines we've had because everybody's, I guess, felt for you and had to share their own stories. But Rusty, thank you so much for the call.
Oh, you're welcome. I love your show.
Thank you.
Rusty.
Thank you.
Yeah, look, everyone, I think, has a story, whether it's a car or it's some sort of personal property that you lose or you think it's somewhere and it's actually somewhere else.
Here's another one. Pam on the chat line said, not car, but phone story. I accidentally put my hairdresser's cell phone in my purse, got home, realized it, took my phone out, and texted her to let her know I had her phone.
You texted her to... Yeah, that's...
It's not
quite how that should work.
Not going to help. Just to finish the text from Art in Los Angeles said, after he said, can't wait to hear from the GOAT man, Matt Coatney. By the way, Kyle, you're still my favorite. So is Jessica Go Big Fred.
See, I like Go Big Fred. I haven't heard that till now.
Yeah, there's lots of shirts. We need to get you.
Yeah, we should.
A Herbie shirt and a Go Big Fred shirt.
I like Go Big Fred. I'm gonna wear that. I'd wear that shirt. I'd wear a Herbie shirt for sure. I think we should start a Goatney T-shirt, like some sort of design with for Coatney. Obviously, we're talking about Matt Coatney, but Goatney, and then have like an actual goat in there with Herbie or something like that we can have.
Maybe you should draw it up. Send it to the
printer. I can't draw. Get somebody who has some sort of artistic bone in their body, and then we can go from there. But Goatney is, I like it, and we can have Matt and Greesh wear those on the broadcast table. Get some advertising too. We have Sports Nightly every night. We could sell some T-shirts. We're not just we're not just radio people.
Man, how much sports have we even talked?
None. Sometimes it's a good thing.
Let's talk some women's basketball again. Coming off the big win, we just heard from Matt Coatney over Illinois on Saturday, getting back in the win column. Amy Williams going to join us next. Dive into that win. Also, big one coming up back at home on Wednesday night against Northwestern. So lots to get into here with the head coach coming up next on our Nebraska Women's Basketball Hour. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Spotting the perfect fit is kind of your thing. So when it comes to finding a used car, start your search at FordBlueAdvantage.com and find the perfect certified pre-owned vehicle at your local Ford dealer. One that comes with serious perks, like a thorough inspection, a Ford-backed warranty, even a Carfax report. Because you know what they say, the best finds are the ones that feel made for you. Ford Blue Advantage. Used car buying that's built for you. Available at participating dealers only. See your dealer for details and limitations.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Returns on the farm are under pressure. with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole. Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. From enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Contact 811 2 days before you dig to protect your underground utilities and yourself. It's free, it's easy, it's the law. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and it's time now for our weekly chat with the head coach of Nebraska women's basketball, Amy Williams. Congratulations, big win on Saturday.
Yes, it was just an amazing crowd that came out in the freezing cold to support our team, and just another big opportunity and a great way to protect our home court and get a quality win over Illinois, which we just have a ton of respect for their program and where they're at. So it was a hard-fought battle, and just proud of the way that we were able to get back to the winning ways.
Before we dive into that, you mentioned the crowd. We talked to Kennedy, who was also part of Fan Fest for Husker softball and baseball. Apparently that was rocking too. I mean, fans just showed out all day on Saturday.
They did. It was just a big weekend for Husker sports. I mean, just, our wrestling program, just what a weekend for them, and the crowd turned out for wrestling and women's basketball and just a lot of excitement around the baseball and softball programs as they're getting ready to kick things off. So much fun. Obviously, Fred and the boys got to go on the road, but continued their undefeated ways. Just a really exciting time to be a Husker fan, and they showed up for us this weekend.
We've talked to Fred about this too, but you've got opposing coaches now telling you that they know to prepare for a crazy atmosphere in Pinnacle Bank Arena. That's got to make you pretty proud.
It does. It does. I mean, I went right over before the game, and Shauna said, we know that it doesn't matter what the temperature's like at Nebraska, they're going to show up and they're going to have a great crowd. And we did. And that crowd we leaned into to help us secure a victory.
How about just the start? You had to love the way that your team came out of the locker room and to start the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the midst of kind of the highs and lows of the Big Ten Conference, and, we were on a 3-game losing streak, and sometimes that can lead to uncertainty. But I thought our kids came out to fight, and they just really were aggressive and playing hard on both sides of the ball, like a team that was hungry to get back to the win column, and just proud of the way we kicked things off.
You had mentioned with Matt Coatney in your postgame a couple different times practice the day before for a couple players, but it seemed like you guys had good preparation leading into that. Did you feel like you felt pretty good going into it because of the days you had leading up to it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had a couple kids that had just great practices and just showed that fighter spirit. We know that it's not the one practice before the game that's going to make the big difference. It's the months of practice and preparation that we've put in, and our team has worked really hard. I know they've put in that preparation, but to continue to show fight fight and the type of energy that it's going to take to be able to get wins in this league. We were seeing that, and we saw that carry over to game time on Saturday.
One of those you mentioned, Petra Bozon. How about her and her impact that she was able to have on Saturday?
Yeah, she had a huge impact on the game, and she was commanding the basketball, playing with great confidence. I thought affected things just maybe even forcing a few kind of rotation substitution patterns to be able to guard her inside. And I just thought she was disruptive on both sides, found ways to come away with some rebounds, and there's still plenty of room to keep growing for Petra, but it was great to see her playing aggressive and with command.
For her and that kind of impact that she had, how big could that be for you guys moving forward if she can continue to build off of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. It's massive. I think Petra brings something to the table that nobody else on our team can, and with her length and size. And so when she's playing with great confidence, our team is just a different team. And so it's something that we want to really, lean into, encourage, and continue to help her grow from.
Claire Johnson was another player that you bragged on in your postgame. It's funny because when my parents were up here a couple weeks ago and we were sitting in the crowd, my dad just raved about her. And she's not always someone that's going to just blow you away on the stat sheet, but she just does so many good things well.
She does, and she's found a way to find ways to contribute no matter what the team needs. And it could be just amazing paint touches. It could be making the right pass in the right moment. It could be creating for herself. It could be, I think she's just really focused and locked in on the defensive end of the ball, and that's where we really needed to see some improvements. And I think that she's focused on that, and she's started to really be able to contribute for our team. And when we can lean on her, it makes our team that much deeper.
When you say paint touches, for those that might not know, what are you looking for out of paint touches?
Yeah, well, it could be, post feeds. It could be our post players working to catch the ball with 2 feet in the lane, but also whenever our guards can penetrate and push pace and tempo and get both of their feet into the paint, it usually creates good opportunities for us. It sometimes collapses defense. If not, it makes things, easier to score when you get into the paint. And we've just really charted a lot of, quality shots for our program and how many of them come after 1 or 2 paint touches. And so those are goals for us. And every game we set out to have, a certain number of paint touches for the ball game. And that's something that I think Claire has done a great job of just taking to heart.
Okay, so in Britt Prince back in the 20-point margin on Saturday, what did you like out of her and what she was able to do offensively for you guys?
Yeah, I thought she stayed aggressive. I thought she played with great pace, and I think that really matters. I think that, when she can really push pace, push tempo, it creates opportunities for herself. It creates opportunities for others, but I thought they tried to ride her off of every screen. They tried to, limit her ability to cut off of screens away from the basketball. They were very physical with her, and I thought she handled that well in this game and made them pay from the free throw line, going 8 for 8 down the stretch, and when they were fouling and things. And I thought just was really able to capitalize through a game that was really physical.
I know you guys have a lot of trust and belief in the players around her too, but for someone that is so important to a lot of different things that you guys do, how do you guys game plan? Can you game plan on what teams might do to her defensively, or is it something that you're having to do in game and make adjustments to how teams are guarding her?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're starting to get, a little more experienced with, the different ways that people are trying to slow her down. And it's, everybody seems to have a slightly different, game plan, but most teams, we've seen something that's kind of similar now that we're this deep into the season. And so I think, she's a player that really is hungry to watch film and study and, how can I be better in this situation when they try to trap me off ball screens, or they try to, hedge me off ball screens, or they try to, down me on screens away from the ball, how can I be better? And I think that's really helped her continue to grow.
I was going to say, how does she handle it? Because, I mean, I would be so frustrated sometimes if I were her and some of the things that teams are doing. I mean, but she's so poker face. You never know kind of what she's feeling in the moment.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest strengths for her is just that she's able to keep calm and cool in any situation, no matter how things are going for her, how things are going for, with the way she's being defended, how things are being called in the game. She's able to just, refocus and keep locked in on what needs to happen. I think that's her competitive spirit. She's a really, really tough competitor. She wants to win. And so her ability to be able to maintain composure is one of the best traits about Britt.
When you look at the score sheet, too, and you see kind of the balance and the different players in double figures, what is it that you see when you go back and watch the film that allowed for that kind of complete team performance?
Yeah, well, I thought that Jess Petrie made some massive plays late clock at the end of quarters to, we were kind of a little bit out of rhythm, out of offensive sync there to end the third quarter, and she gets it kind of in a one-on-one situation, and right at the shot clock buzzer, scores a bucket to give us back I believe it was a 12-point lead, where if she doesn't score that bucket, they get the possession back. They maybe had a chance to cut it to 8 heading into the fourth quarter. It could have been a different ball game, but she makes that bucket, takes it to 12. Then we gain the possession back to start the fourth quarter and score again, and we're able to go up 14, which really solidified some things, gave us a little more breathing room heading into the fourth quarter. I think she just made a big bucket right before halftime that I thought gave us some momentum heading into the halftime break. When she's doing those kinds of things for our team, it makes a huge difference. We've already talked about Petra's contributions and her being able to get to double figures. I thought Logan Nisley was a huge key in the ball game, just coming out and playing aggressive, really hunting her shot and not being indecisive about when to shoot, but just, knowing that our team is better when she is aggressive, coming off ball screens, off the dribble, catch and shoot shots, and she gets to a season high 15 points. But it was plays like Callan Hake's charge late, that just massive plays like that continued to give us momentum, that I felt like all those team efforts, things that showed up with double-figure scores, but, Claire and Kennedy combining for 6 assists, just 1 turnover between the two of them. Haley Weaver, I thought, had, a big block late, a couple of really big offensive rebounds to spark, kind of keep us in possessions. When we're getting contributions like that and everybody on the team is fighting, that's when we have a chance to win in this league.
Good stuff. When also in the postgame, you talked about, you said, I think it was a little bit of a roller coaster because at the end, closing things out. So when you are diving into the film on that and how to close out a game when you have a lead and maybe a team's fighting and getting back into it, what were the teaching moments from that?
Yeah, well, we're going to have an opportunity today to kind of break down some of our, press break situations and, times where I thought that we really needed to stay in attack mode, but we were kind of in preserve mode, and it got us into a little bit of trouble because we were hanging out in the backcourt too long when we need to really stay aggressive with breaking pressure. And so we'll learn from that, and that's something we'll spend some time watching film on and really working to correct today in practice and, being more prepared. We know we're going to see more full court pressure throughout the remainder of this Big Ten season. So our ability to grow and handle that and be a little bit more prepared as we continue to head into the second half of Big Ten play.
All right, we got to work in a break here during our conversation with Amy Williams. So more with the head coach coming up right after this as we dive into what's next for Husker women's basketball. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Dear Weekend. Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly and our Nebraska women's basketball segment with the head coach, Amy Williams. The Big Ten is no joke. It's no joke every year, but especially this year. So many teams ranked in the top 10. It's a battle every single night. Coach, how do you balance just, the gauntlet, knowing the fights and the battles that it takes night in and night out? And there's really no rest for the weary in this league.
It's definitely a grind. And I think the biggest thing is that I am so grateful for is that we have young women that have come to Nebraska because that's what they want. I mean, they're excited to play in the Big Ten Conference and be a part of this grind and, knowing and welcoming that, iron sharpens iron, and every night that we get to go up against a quality opponent, it's going to make us better, and we're going to continue to grow as individuals, as players, and as a team. And when you have players that welcome that and don't shy away from that, then it helps kind of with the day-to-day, just the every single night out, it's a battle.
Okay, so coming up next, we got Northwestern on a Wednesday night, getting back at home. You guys got a stretch of back-to-back games at home.
Yeah, I am just so grateful for that. I mean, just 2 games in a row at home just feels amazing. We are so grateful to the fan base that's been just supporting us all year. And, we're just encouraging, any new fans that, haven't got to see us yet to get out and take advantage. It's a group that's really going to fight hard for each other and for just Husker Nation. So we're thrilled to be back at home for one more this week. And I think National
Girls, Women in Sports Day. Yep, it's the annual game there, I guess, because the schedule. So it's a little early, but there's a lot of special things. So I was going to ask you about that. I mean, this day, you were an athlete yourself, how far it's come. I mean, it's important to continue to remember that, right, as we continue to move forward.
100%. I mean, right now, it just kind of gives you pause when you think about that and just how being able to participate in sports has just, has changed the lives of a lot of young girls and women. And there's just a huge excitement right now around Nebraska and the women's sports here and how competitive and well, the women's teams are competing, but also with the addition of women's flag football at Nebraska, it just shows that there's going to be continued growth and even more excitement for more opportunities for young girls to be competitive and to learn all the life lessons that come from being a part of sport.
It's funny because, we talk a lot about, if I had this when I was growing up but talking to Kennedy, and here is someone that's currently a student athlete, pretty young, but yet when she was growing up, she said, I wish I would have had flag football. So how cool is that now that, again, another opportunity for a young girl to have something that even your daughters didn't have growing up?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just incredible. I just love it. It's going to be exciting to see where we are in another, 15 years, and just the way that these opportunities from flag football and any others and more that are coming will continue to shape the young women into just positive leaders in our community.
So I was thinking when the sport was announced, who's a current student athlete that would be a pretty good football player? I immediately thought Kennedy. I mean, she's played every other sport at a high level.
I'm sure that she took that as an incredible compliment. And her dad and I gave her a little bit of exposure to some flag football, but it was with all the boys when we were in South Dakota. And so as soon as it got to tackle, we kind of said, okay, we're going to shut that down.
I feel like she'd be a pretty good safety. That's all I'm saying. I think she'd probably could play some pretty good, black shirt flag football defense back there.
She usually does okay with the speed things.
I never know when she's done with softball and basketball. Maybe she could take on a third sport.
Let's just pump the brakes. We're just going to focus on what we're doing right now. So,
funny. Okay, well let's talk Northwestern. What does that matchup look like for you guys? What needs to happen for the Huskers to put another one in the win column?
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern is a team that's, incredibly scary because they have one of the top scorers in the conference in Grace Sullivan, who just, has an incredible skill set. She's so versatile, and many teams have tried, but many teams have failed to try to contain her scoring. They have the nation's leader in assists, and Carolyn Lau, who's just a very veteran guard that makes plays for herself and for her team at a high level. You can't lead the nation in assists and not be just an incredible playmaker for your team. And then they have I believe still the conference leading rebounder in Thomas inside their starting 5 players. So you have players that are leading almost every statistical category that there is, and just dangerous players. And when they put things all together, they can beat anybody in the country. And so it's going to take a great effort, great fight, great energy, a great crowd. Husker Nation, come on out and support us on Wednesday night. Help us get that win.
I know you said rebounding was a big key going into Illinois. Did you feel like improved in that area?
I felt like it was a first half improvement and then not so much in the second half. We really took care of things rebounding wise, gave up 2 offensive rebounds in the first half of that ball game, which was key for our ability to grow the lead. And then in the second half, we gave up 10 offensive rebounds. And so just kind of fell apart. And I think there were a few things defensively where we were trying to make some adjustments to contain Barry Wallace, and do a few things. And when we made the adjustments defensively, we lost our focus on the rebounding. And so that's something that we can also learn from. And we will watch and film today and find ways to, stay diligent about knowing that rebounding will be critical for us down the stretch.
And then I know, and if you're a regular listener to Coach Williams on this show, one game at a time, but we won't have you on before Ohio State. So then you go back on the road at Ohio State on Sunday. Do you have any early thoughts on that and what that matchup might look like?
Not really. So thanks for asking, Jess. I know you always do, but I honestly haven't really even looked past Northwestern film. I'm very blessed to have assistant coaches that, somebody's working really hard to have Ohio State prep going. And but from my standpoint, I haven't even peeked at it yet.
Okay, well, one last thing, because it is National Girls, Women in Sports Day on Wednesday, the annual game. A lot of special things that go on about that, but I think one of the coolest things is you look down and you look around and you see all the little girls that are inspired by your team. That's got to be really special to see all the young girls that, who knows, might be playing for you one day.
It's incredibly special. And this past Saturday, I was able to see Alexis Markowski, and she brought one of her youth teams that she's currently working with to the game. And, I just remember Alexis talking about how she so vividly remembered growing up, coming to Husker games and, dreaming of someday being able to, be out on that court, watching Jordan Hooper and some of the Husker greats from her childhood, and then just hoping someday that she'd be the one out there that people were watching and saying, I want to be just like her. And then to have Alexis show up at the game yesterday with several young girls that are playing club basketball that she's able to touch, just so proud of Lex and the way she's pouring into the youth in the state of Nebraska, but also, bringing them out to support the Huskers and to also dream big.
So you could bring your daughters out, bring whoever, come to the game on Wednesday night against Northwestern, 7:00 tip. We'll have the pregame show for you here on the Huskers Radio Network starting at 6:30, but Huskers.com/ticket should be a fun night. And I think they're doing some special promotions too, but check out the Husker women's basketball social media accounts if you want to get involved. But a lot of fun things coming up on Wednesday. So make sure you're back inside Pinnacle Bank Arena on Wednesday. Thank you so much for being here. Congrats on the win and best of luck on Wednesday.
Thanks, Jess.
And that is the head coach, Amy Williams, here with us on Sports Nightly. The Nebraska Women's Basketball Coaches Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, where people don't have your money has people. Going to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
O'Reilly
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Monday night edition. We let Kyle Crooks get on out of here early tonight in case he needed extra time to find his car. So he is done for the night. So hopefully he has found his car safe and sound in the parking garage where he left it on whatever floor he left it on. But final few minutes left for us here. We will not be on the air tomorrow night because we have the big showdown. Top 5 matchup between Nebraska and Michigan coming up 6 o'clock tip. So we'll have a 5 o'clock pregame show. So that will boot us off the air. So we'll be able to all take in the game. But Kent and Jeff will be on the air starting at 5 o'clock. Leading into the big one. And then, as mentioned earlier with Amy Williams coming up on Wednesday night, we'll just have a shortened show, about 20 minutes leading into the pregame show with Matt Coatney and Jeff Greesh, 6:30 there for a 7 o'clock tip against Northwestern. And pretty cool night. Again, there's going to be a lot of young girls from across the community that are going to be able to come in and shadow some people that work in sports. And also, I know lots of teams going to be involved. So it's always a fun night. I don't know who's going to be working with me, but I know I get a young girl that's going to be following me around, in Cassidy Ottoman, who works with us as well. So it should be so much fun. And I think Jeff and Coatney are going to have someone sitting in between them during the broadcast. So just such a cool night with a lot of fun things involved. So if you want to be a part of that, you can, again, check out the Husker Women's social media accounts and huskers.com/tickets if you want to be a part of that one on Wednesday night. Speaking of flag football, as we just talked with Amy Williams about, over the weekend, we saw a video that emerged of Matt Rule offering the very first scholarship, the first female athlete to receive a Division I Power 4 flag football scholarship offer. And it went to McKenna Cook, who is actually already committed to play soccer at Georgia. But pretty cool, Matt Rule extending that offer, and going to be the first of many. I think it's going to be such a fun storyline to continue to follow as we lead up to that first season, but as we welcome in the head coach, the first players. But pretty cool, the first offer coming across. And, I chatted with Kennedy Williams today as a part of our National Girls and Women in Sports Day special that's going to be coming up next week, actually a week from tomorrow night. And she talked about that, how she wanted to play football, and her parents said absolutely not. She played flag football, and then there wasn't an avenue once she got to a certain age, and so she couldn't. And so pretty cool that now those young girls are going to be able to have those opportunities. So pretty cool to see the first offer coming across my timeline over the weekend. All right, that is going to do it for us here tonight. Thanks to everyone for making this possible. Thanks to Jeff Smith for joining us earlier, Amy Williams, David and Brady over there making this thing go, Kyle Crooks for sharing and embarrassing himself about losing his car on Friday night. But yeah, enjoy the big one tomorrow night. Nebraska and Michigan top 5 showdown, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock pregame show right here on the Huskers Radio Network. And we'll talk to you on Wednesday night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same: a wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more